For the latest on the investigation into the attack, I'm joined by Richard Walton. He is the former counterterrorism chief on London's Metropolitan Police. Richard, thank you so much. This is the third terror attack in Britain in just 3 months. Why do you think the UK has become such a target?
Well, it's not just the UK, of course, it's across Europe and indeed across the world. But obviously in the UK, we've experienced an unprecedented level of threat with these 3 attacks. If you go back before then, the previous attack was several years ago. So it's not just the attacks itself as well. Of course, the police are saying that 5 plots have been disrupted between Westminster attack and the more recent attack on Saturday.
And you heard the Prime Minister, Theresa May. She's ordered a review of the counterterrorism strategy employed in the United Kingdom. What would this look like?
Well, she's talking about a complete review of the entire strategy. The counterterrorism strategy in the UK is well established. It's been revised a number of times over the years. It's actually credited as being a very good strategy. I suppose where the question mark is at the moment is around the prevention strand of that strategy. What more could be done to prevent those from within Muslim communities being enticed and radicalised by this ideology? Then there's the other aspect, of course, is also the radicalisation online and whether more could be done to prevent radicalisation material being left on websites and then obviously being used by ISIS to entice these individuals to carry out these attacks.
The threat level, Richard, as you know, in Britain was raised from severe to critical following the Manchester attack. Why have authorities chosen to keep the threat level at severe today after this one?
Well, the threat level is set by the Independent Joint Terrorist Analysis Centre, and basically they raise or decrease the threat based on intelligence that they actually possess. Now, obviously, by not raising it to critical after this more recent attack, then that suggests that there is no intelligence of an imminent attack that might follow. So obviously that could change at any time, but it's based on available intelligence at any one time.
And so here's the question that I think a lot of people are going to have as they look to the response from the UK. Clearly, the United Kingdom, as you pointed out, Richard, has had some history with terrorist attacks, and I'm thinking specifically about the period known as the Troubles across the UK with the IRA. You saw images of people, you saw the one guy with the pint in his hand, running away from that terrorist attack. Many people opened up their homes to folks that were stranded after the attack on London Bridge. Just give our viewers a sense of that London strong, that UK strong attitude, that sort of stiff upper lip, keep calm and carry on attitude that has defined the United Kingdom for so many years.
Well, London is very used to terrorism attacks, not in recent times, of course, but when I started in counterterrorism in the late 1980s, we were having attacks on a daily basis by the Provisional IRA. So it's in recent memory that those attacks were happening. Obviously, we've had very few attacks in recent times, but people, there's a memory in London around the threats, and we've developed, I think, a resilience to terrorism during those days of the Provisional IRA. Resilience that continues to this day.
And Richard, finally, what do you make and what's the takeaway in the fact that authorities seem to have made a series of arrests? They know who these perpetrators were. They know people that were connected to them. I wonder if that means that there was either perhaps a lapse in not the investigation, but counterterrorism methods that were being employed up until the attack, or if this was something where they knew people in the area perhaps might have nefarious intentions but couldn't make a move on them because they hadn't acted upon those intentions.
Well, the police have said they've got somewhere in the region of 500 covert intelligence-led operations are running currently against elements, extremist elements across the UK. That's a huge volume of investigations. And obviously at any one time, individuals become more of a high priority, and then sometimes they drop away a little bit because another operation becomes a higher priority. It's an incredible, difficult thing to make those judgments, those fine judgments, based on the available intelligence that you have at the time. Now, obviously, these three individuals are going to be named this afternoon. They're very likely to be known by the intelligence agencies and by the police. I'd find it exceptional if they weren't actually known.
Richard, there are reports that in certain areas, in certain neighborhoods in the UK, there are these mosques where radical Islam is preached. And I wonder what the fine line authorities have to walk between looking into the activities of these mosques and obviously protecting the rights of people to worship freely.
It's a very difficult judgment call to make. We are hearing that one of these individuals might have actually been thrown out of a mosque. And that happens, of course, as well. What we've found in recent years is that many of the extremists that have become terrorists, if you like, have actually been spending their time outside of the mosque and forming other different groups, and have often been aligned to organisations such as Al-Majahirun, who are an extremist organisation but not affiliated to any particular mosque. So it's not really necessarily a mosque issue, obviously, but we depend on the imams to report individuals such as these three that are showing, extremist views.
Yeah, and we should always point out when that happens, because I think a lot of people don't realize that when an individual comes into any area spouting these extremist views, that they are generally kicked out or removed from those areas and from those places of worship. Richard Walton, as always, it's great to have your analysis. We thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.